Hello, guys, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. We're back for another stream. This is the team selection video for Gameweek 1. So, yeah, let's get into it. Jordan, how you doing? Everything good?
Yeah, everything's very good. We're on the eve of the Premier League fantasy football, so yeah, it's exciting times.
Yeah, of course. There's only about 24 hours to the deadline now. I think it's a 6:30 deadline tomorrow. We will be streaming live, so make sure you tune in for tomorrow's deadline stream. It should be a good one. But yeah, we're here to discuss our team selections. So yeah, we're going to kick it off with what I've got currently. We're going to talk about why we've made these picks. Also, we're going to have to discuss captaincy if you think that's a subject. Let's get into it. So if I start off in goal, I actually have gone with Onana, obviously the Manchester United goalkeeper, the new signing. He's got Wolves at home, which I think is a pretty good fixture for Man United and Onana. I would expect a clean sheet. Wolves have just lost their manager. Obviously, Lopetegui, I believe, has been sacked, and they look like they could be managerless, or unless they've got an interim in place. So that game I'm looking at potentially as a clean sheet for Man United. So yeah, that should be a good game to have Onana for. Onana is priced at 5 million as well. Now, he's not 100% locked in my team, if I'm being honest. I could easily swap him out for a cheaper 4.5 million goalie. But at the moment, I've had Onana for a few weeks, but I think that could easily change. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Moving on to the back three, I've currently gone with Estupinian at Brighton. Obviously, Brighton's fixtures look really, really good. First couple. And yeah, Luton to kick the season off. Luton at home, and it's a game where I expect Brighton to win. I do expect quite a big, comfortable win really for Brighton, but yeah, especially being home. So Estupinian is obviously quite template. He's in a lot of teams. He was very good last season, playing in that Brighton side, bombing on, getting some assists, good attacking threat. He also won a penalty in the previous preseason game, which obviously João Pedro took, but we'll come on to him later. But yeah, Estupinian's in my team at 5 million. I think he's an easy pick. I've also decided to include John Stones. Obviously, Man City kick off the Premier League season tomorrow to Burnley. That is away. And yeah, again, I think I wanted to include a Man City defender just because I think they're the best. They are the best defense in the Premier League. They're the most likely team, in my opinion, to keep a clean sheet. Burnley away, I still believe it's a good fixture for Man City. And yeah, I do expect a clean sheet. So I think John Stones also has that threat potentially, where he likes to, drop into midfield. And I think he's quite important as well for Man City. So I don't see too much rotation. I know that's a slight worry with Man City defenders, but I think Stones is a nailed player, and he should get starting minutes in that Man City backline. Moving on to Gabriel, I've gone with the Arsenal man who's got Forest at home as well in game week 1. He's priced at around 5 million as well. I think he's, for me, the best Arsenal defender to have. I do prefer him over Saliba due to having more attacking threat from a corner, from set pieces. I don't like Ben White just due to him being 0.5 million more expensive. I think Gabriel at 5 million is the best Arsenal asset. He's nailed. He's going to play 90 minutes if he's fit. Decent attacking threat from set pieces, as I mentioned. And yeah, Forest at home, you expect a clean sheet in that game from Arsenal. And yeah, it should be a comfortable win, but that's why I've included Gabriel. And also, we know Arsenal's fixtures for the start of the season are pretty good as well. So yeah, he's in the team. Moving on to Mitoma. Now, I've included Mitoma in my team. Again, he's got Luton at home. Now, Mitoma is one that I'm not locked. He could easily change. There is a couple of other players that I'm looking at in his position, like a Eze at Crystal Palace or a Mbeumo at Brentford. Those are the two other players that definitely I could take out for Mitoma. I like Mitoma's fixtures. Again, decent start. Luton at home. We know he did really well last season, where it was a bit of a gem. Price at 6.5 million. I think he is good value for money. And yeah, I'd expect Brighton to, put a couple of goals past Luton in that match day one, game week one, I should say. And yeah, I do like Mitoma as a 6.5 million pick. I think he's one of the better options at that price bracket. Moving on to Rashford. Obviously, I've got the double Man United attack. I've got Rashford and Fernandes. They've both got Wolves at home. Again, I think a lot of us managers really have Rashford and Bruno in our team. I think Rashford, what he did last season, I believe it was 17 league goals. We know he had on that run where he was scoring every week. It seems. I still believe he's the best. He's the best Man United player in terms of FPL, in terms of getting goals, getting assists, bonus points. And yeah, you're hoping that he can kind of carry on his form from last season and deliver. It looks like Manchester United's new signing, Rasmus Højlund, will not be fit for the start of the season due to a problem. So Rashford is going to be, again, the onus is going to be on Rashford to get Manchester United's goals, because I don't really believe Sancho and Anthony are that type of player where they're going to get a lot of goals, and Rashford will still be the main man. So yeah, I like Rashford, and he's got Wolves at home, and I'll back him to score in that one. Fernandes, again, I've included him. He's got Wolves at home. The main reason why I've gone with Fernandes, I think, is due to him being a 90-minute man. I know he's going to play every game. He's going to probably stay on the pitch as well. We know with the new rule change and games going to be lasting a bit longer now due to time wasting, etc. They're going to add on 10, 8 minutes every game, and you want someone like Fernandes, I think, for that. And he's going to play. He's not going to get subbed off if the game's tight. So again, he's on penalties, which is a big bonus in FPL. You can have a poor game, you can get a penalty, and then easy double-digit return potentially. And yeah, he's on set pieces for Man United. He's pretty much obviously newly appointed captain as well, more responsibility on him. So I'd expect a bigger season from Fernandes, and I do expect a better season from him in terms of goals and assists. Moving on to the Arsenal boys, I've gone with Saka and Odegaard. I had Martinelli. I've got Odegaard in there now. I keep changing my mind on both of them. Again, he's going to play every game, 90 minutes, nailed to start. He's probably Arsenal's most important player in that attacking area. Not much, he doesn't really have much competition on that right-hand side. So, he's going to play. He's on penalties again, same as Bruno. Saka could take a penalty, and it's an easy avenue to points. So, yeah, I like him against Forest. Forest at home is a great fixture for Arsenal to start the season, and I expect goals in this one, as I mentioned, hence why I've gone with double Arsenal attack. So I expect Saka to get on the score sheet, and he could also be a good captaincy option for those that want to, back against Haaland. And then finally, I've got Odegaard to complete the midfield. Forest at home, again, similar to Saka, great fixture. You can see goals, again, pulling the strings from midfield for Odegaard. There is that Odegaard-Martinelli debate. Who'd you go for? I like both of them, if I'm being honest, but Odegaard I do like due to him being obviously, he gets avenues in terms of goals and assists, and I think he is quite vital to the Arsenal team. And one thing I prefer over Martinelli is the fact that Odegaard is going to play majority games 90 minutes, whereas Martinelli could get subbed out due to Trossard. Obviously, Trossard is now an option, and that can play that left wing position, and he might take minutes off Martinelli. So Martinelli could become a bit of a minutes risk, and Odegaard is a bit more safe, I think, in that sense. And finally, moving up top, I've gone with João Pedro. Now, João Pedro is a bit of a differential pick. I'm not sure what his ownership's like at the moment, but new signing from Watford, and yeah, Brighton's new number 9, and I think João Pedro could be an interesting pick. Obviously, priced at 5.5 million, he could be a bit of a gem this season. Could be a potential bargain if he starts for Brighton up front, and Luton at home, again, great fixture. And I think João Pedro could have a decent season. Now, obviously, he is a slight risk. Whether he's going to start every game, I'm not sure, because they have Welbeck, who can easily start up front. They've obviously got Ferguson as well that can play up top. So that is a slight worry about Pedro, but at that price point, it does tempt me bringing him in. Again, he's got good fixtures to start the game week with, and yeah, he's one definitely that I'm watching. He's not 100% locked in my team. I could easily take him out and go for another striker like a Jackson at Chelsea or even a Watkins. I think Watkins, again, it could be a good pick. So, yeah, João Pedro, interesting one to watch. And he's one of those players, if he gets a brace against Luton, you can expect a big price rise for game week 2. So, one to watch. Finally, there's not much to really talk about in terms of Haaland. No, he's got Burnley away. I think he's in everyone's team. If you don't have him, you probably want to have him in your team. And I think he's nearly 90% owned, Haaland. So yeah, not much to discuss there. He's going to be my captain, I'm pretty sure, against Burnley away, and I can see him getting a couple goals in that one as well. Finally, moving on to the bench, I've gone with Areola, who's got Bournemouth away. This could easily be switched out. I know Turner's just actually moved to Nottingham Forest, obviously a 4 million goalkeeper potentially. That's nailed to start. So that could easily change. On the first bench, I have gone Reece James. Reece James, obviously priced at 5.5 million, has been appointed Chelsea captain as well, which is good, I guess. We know he's going to play again when he's fit. I am 50-50 on including Reece James. It could easily become like Ben Chilwell, or it could easily become a cheap 4.5 million defender. I don't really like having too much money on the bench, so I can easily take Reece James out. He's another player, Reece James, that is not locked in my team. He does have Liverpool. I probably wouldn't start him due to I do expect Liverpool to score in that one, so I don't really see a clean sheet, but could be a good attacking threat to have, definitely, with Liverpool's leaky defence in pre-season. Finally, on the bench, I've got Kabore, Luton defender. He's a bit attacking. He likes to get forward, and yeah, I thought I'd include a cheap defender, 4.5 million. And Mubama's another one, 4.5 million forward for West Ham. He's got Bournemouth away, and again, he has slight potential to actually get game time this season, and so he's in there for me as a forward slot. So yeah, as you can see, guys, I'm playing a 3-5-2. The value of the team is 99 million. I have 1 million in the bank as well, so that allows me to be flexible. If I see, I want to upgrade João Pedro to someone else, I can go there. So I do like having a bit of money in the bank. 1 million probably is a bit too much. Maybe I can upgrade elsewhere and then keep like 0.5 in the bank. But as I said, guys, there's definitely players in my team that aren't locked. Like the goalkeeper situation, that could change. Reece James, I'm not still 100% sure, but I want to be a bit different, take a punt. And I think Chelsea defense could be the way to go, just to be a bit different. Odegaard again. Odegaard and Martinelli, that's the debate. Mitoma can easily go for me as well. Obviously, currently, I think Mbeumo is flagged, but hopefully, if he's fit, he's a serious option I'm considering at that 6.5 million bracket. However, I also like Eze. As I said, I think Eze is going to be could be a good, exciting pick to have in that Palace team with now Zaha's, who, Zaha's gone to the Galatasaray. So I think more onus on Eze to be the goal scorer for Palace. But yeah, that is pretty much my team, guys. What I'm on right now. The main doubts about this team is, as you guys know, I am still I'm not sure about going without Salah. Obviously, Mo Salah is someone that I've wanted in my team. When the game came out, I was going to have him. But Mo Salah is one of those players that I am scared about going without, because I look at that game week 2 fixture against Bournemouth. I think he could easily get a couple in that game. So, yeah, I will have a Salah draft ready just in case I panic and change my mind. So, yeah, we'll have to see if I go there. But my team will be something like this, not locked, but that's what I'm feeling right now. Something like this. Let us know in the comments, guys, your thoughts as well. What you think of the team? Is there someone else that I should probably add in instead? Pros, cons of this team. Let us know in the chat. Also, if you guys are watching, please don't forget to smash a like on the video. It really helps support the channel. Yeah, all your likes are appreciated. So that's all we ask for. Like and share the stream as well. And yeah, Jordan, enough of me, enough of my team. Let's talk about your team and why you've selected these players. And yeah, talk us through your game week 1 starting squad.
Yeah, I did do a lot of changes to this team, so I'm not really confident with what I've gone for with the team selection. But we'll kick it off with the goalkeeper, who's Areola, who's got Bournemouth away. Now, because of how expensive my team is, as you can see, I've got 0 in the bank. So it's 100 million team value. I've had to opt to go for a cheap goalkeeper, and that being Areola, who is 4 million but has got Bournemouth away. Whether he's the main goalkeeper for obviously West Ham is questionable. But if not, if he doesn't end up starting, I do have Forster, who's got Brentford away. It's not the ideal preferred fixture for Spurs, but it's just in case as a backup that I have potentially two starting goalkeepers.
No,
But I got
Forster won't start. Obviously, I think they got a new goalie, haven't they? Spurs. Obviously, I think Visario they signed. So who could start? But I'm not sure who's been starting in preseason. But I don't think Forster will start.
no, I'm not. I'm actually not too confident about these goalkeeper picks, if I'm honest. So that's definitely going to change. But it's for the sake of this video and team selection wise, I've got Areola in goal, just because of obviously budget. There's not real any other reason I actually put this player in my team, just because it's to save money and funding the rest of it. But yeah, I'll just move on from that because that's just a cheap pick. Moving on to defense, first defender we've got is Estupiñán. Obviously, he's in a lot of drafts. He's over 50% owned by FPL managers, so he is pretty much template, as we have said. He did have a good season last though. He got 7 assists and he did score 1 goal in his last season. So he had a pretty good season with Brighton. And his first fixture is obviously Luton at home. So yeah, strong start for Brighton. Luton at home fixture, newly promoted team. And yeah, I think Estupiñán can definitely kick it off with potentially maybe getting an assist in that game. I do expect it to be a high scoring game for Brighton, just because newly promoted teams do tend to struggle on first basis of a team that they haven't really played before. And with Brighton being very dangerous on the attack as well, I do think they're going to have a decent game. So yeah, Estupiñán is my first defender pick, which I'm pretty confident on keeping. Moving on to Luke Shaw, who's my second defender pick, who's got Wolves at home. And yeah, again, another good fixture for Man United to start off with Gameweek 1, Wolves at home. They play obviously well at Old Trafford, and defensively, they're not too bad in defence, Man United. I mean, last season, I think for Luke Shaw, he did get attacking returns in defence. Obviously, he did play, other than centre back, he did play a bit of right back position, so he was a bit attacking on the right hand side. So he did get, I think, 4 assists, and I think he did score a goal last season as well. He did get 12 clean sheets too. So yeah, I do expect a few clean sheets from Man United, and obviously a few attacking returns from obviously Man United, hopefully from Shaw. And yeah, at 5.5 million, he's a decent value pick to go for a defender. So he is my second choice. Moving on to my third choice in defence, and that is Gabriel, who has Nottingham Forest at home. I think a lot of people have gone for Gabriel. I think he's over 25% ownership. And I think it's pretty much a no-brainer going for an Arsenal defender, whether it be Saliba or Gabriel, because they are priced around the same. I think Ben White is a bit more, 0.5 more expensive. So I think it is pretty much a no-brainer. You go for Gabriel or Saliba if you're looking for an Arsenal defender. But yeah, Arsenal have decent fixtures in the first 5, and we obviously have seen how they played against Man City in that Community Shield. They looked pretty good in defence, especially with the new transfer that they had was Timber. You're pretty impressive. So yeah, I think Gabriel as well. He's dangerous when Arsenal have corners too. We did see him last season score a few from headers. So yeah, he has that attacking threat with his headers in from the defender. So yeah, he's my third pick in defence, and that is my back 3. Moving on to the congested midfield. So we've got 5 in the midfield. We've got Enciso and Mitoma, who both have Luton at home. Enciso is one of those picks where I'm hoping he does well from the very first beginning. Obviously, he's not really picked as a player. He's 5.6% ownership, so he's a differential for me. I did want to go for a few differential picks, and I think last season Enciso was pretty good near the end. He did score some quality goals for Brighton, and hopefully he does start against Luton at home. I think that's a good fixture where you may see other goal scorers other than the main ones we see for Brighton score. So potentially and see. So at 5.5 million as well, if he kicks it off with a great start, I think that's a decent value for money player to go for in terms of midfield options, especially for Brighton. And pretty much similar to Matoma, obviously we saw how he was last season, and again he's another cheap player, 6.5 million in price, and definitely a goal scorer. And yeah, that pretty much completes my triple up on Brighton. I think a lot of us do have triple Brighton, and obviously because of the fixture being Luton at home, that's pretty much what we're mostly going to go for. Moving on to the third midfielder, and that is Rashford, who's got Wolves at home. Now, as House mentioned, obviously the new forward that Man United did buy, obviously he's not up to scratch, so that does heavily put Rashford back in the spotlight in terms of goals, like we did see last season, where he was pretty much the he's pretty much the goal scorer for Man United. So with Wolves at home, I do think he can obviously score in that fixture. Yeah, have a good game. I think without having that forward, I think Rashford basically is the only player really that we have that can really get those goals in the net. So hopefully, Wolves at home, he has a good game. Moving on to the fourth midfielder, and that is Saka, who has Nottingham Forest at home. Now, obviously, there's a lot of good points to bring in Saka. I think he's the second most owned FPL player, though, in the game. Obviously, Haaland being the first. Everyone pretty much has Saka. Obviously, he's on penalties. He plays on that right-hand side, but because he plays on that right-hand side, there's no one really can play in that position that he does in, so he's guaranteed the 90 minutes, whereas other Arsenal midfielders, you may not get the full 90 minutes that you will get from Saka. So I like that he's nailed to play 90 minutes, and obviously he's got Nottingham Forest at home, which is a nice fixture at Emirates Stadium, and yeah, he's as a bonus he's on penalties, and you do see bonus points given to Saka if he does end up scoring in any fixture. My last midfielder, that is Mbeumo. Now, obviously, Mbeumo is flagged for a dead leg and has a 75% chance of playing. I'm not too concerned about this because obviously I haven't really heard anything about his dead leg. I'm just assuming that it is what it is, basically. But Brentford do play, I think, on Sunday, so that does give Mbeumo quite a gap to obviously recover and get up to scratch until he goes against Tottenham at home on Sunday. So hopefully he's fit and well for that match. But in case he isn't, I am still going to play in Mbeumo. And if he doesn't end up playing, I obviously got Akanji, who can be subbed on for him if that is the case. So there is backup just in case that the plan goes south for Mbeumo. But hopefully he is fit to play Tottenham at home. Mm-hmm. But yeah, obviously a lot of people did take Mbeumo out. I saw his ownership drop to almost, I think, 10%. So I don't know if that's because of the flag, people are put off by it. But because of Tony being suspended and whatnot, it does make Mbeumo more of an attractive option because obviously he's on penalties too now, and that Tony is suspended and obviously plays as a very dangerous attacking player who does put goals in the net.
So also, I was going to come onto your team. You got Harry Kane right now. Is he like a placeholder for Salah, etc.? Because I don't know if you've seen the news. He's been accepted. Pretty much, Tottenham have accepted a deal for him to leave to Bayern. Now it looks like he could be off there. So, what's your situation with Kane? Because obviously you wanted Kane previously, but it looks like he could be off to Bayern.
Yeah, I did see this, and this is kind of why the team is completely. This is not what it's going to look like, obviously, on deadline stream tomorrow. Yeah, obviously, I've heard the Kane news, and yeah, he will be not in my team tomorrow. It'll probably go back to Darwin, obviously, in that position up front. It seems like the forwards are dropping like flies. He's got Nkunku, who's got injured. Got Harry Kane that's leaving. And I think there's another forward where something else has happened to him. So, yeah, the forward options are dropping. But I think I'll go back to Darwin instead of Kane for that position. And obviously revert back to my original team I had before. I had Harry Kane in there.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, why have you randomly put Kane in there? Like, you had...
Yeah.
When did you add him in?
I added him in yesterday.
Oh, okay, I
So
see.
he was
Yeah.
previously before the update on obviously the exit from Tottenham. But yeah, I'm not going to talk about Kane when obviously he's probably not going to be in the Premier League this
Mhm.
season. And then obviously we've got Haaland as the second forward. Obviously, we don't need to talk about much about him. The most owned player in FPL and probably the most captained one on Gameweek 1, who's got Burnley away. So yeah, that's pretty much the team in the starting 11. On the bench, we've got Forster, who's got Brentford away. Akanji, who's got Burnley away. Botman, who's got Aston Villa at home. And Mubama, who's got Bournemouth away. So not the most exciting bench at all. But yeah, that is pretty much my team. And I do emphasize on this. This is not going to be my team at all in Game Week 1. It's just because so much has happened, like with Kane, this will change.
All right, guys. Okay, that's your team out of the way. We're gonna get a few comments read out. And see how it goes. So yeah, guys, drop your comments in the chat what you think of the teams, and we're gonna just go through because I've missed a few of the comments. I'm not ignoring anyone. I am gonna read your comments out. It's just I like to show the teams first and then come on the comments in the second part of the video. We've got Dan Hilton in the chat. Welcome, Dan. Hope you're well. I'm not gonna lie. After the Jesus and Nkunku injuries, my team's a mess. I put Kane in instead, and now he's gone. Well, that's similar to you, kind of, Jordan. Obviously, you had, I think you were Darwin, you were saying, but
Yeah,
it does seem like the forwards, if Kane needs to leave, and obviously the current news is Tottenham have accepted a bid of 100 million euros for Harry Kane, and now it's up to Harry Kane to decide if he wants to go. So we can assume it looks very close that he's going to go. So if that's the case, Jesus and Nkunku being out is a big blow because they were seen as two strikers that a lot of us had in our teams. So the forward options are kind of dropping as flies. So there's not much really. There's Watkins, who I like. There's obviously João Pedro if you want to go cheap in that 5.5 million bracket. I know you were mentioning Darwin, but personally, I don't think Darwin will start in Game Week 1. I'll be very surprised if he does. However, you guys could take that risk if you think Darwin could be an option, but I think Gakpo is going to play down the middle from what I hear, obviously in the grapevine. But yeah, in terms of forwards, there's not much. Obviously, you're in that position where you have to think about forwards. Have you got anyone in mind, or are you gonna probably leave that till? I mean, you got 6:30 till tomorrow.
I'm probably still going to go back to Darwin, even if he doesn't start, because obviously when he is substituted on, there is a chance that he can score. Yeah, he's still a goal scorer. In pre-season, he's been more clinical. He's scoring goals. So I think regardless if he doesn't start, I think I'll still take that risk and play Darwin and that 7.5 million as well. I mean, he's definitely a cheaper option to go for. And around that price margin, you can swap him out for other 7.5 million forwards.
Yeah, obviously we spoke about Darwin could be an interesting one to have for Game Week 2 if you can hold him till then, because Bournemouth at home could be a good game for him. Dan said, "Do you think Vardy will start?" Obviously, we're going to have deadline tomorrow, so we should hear some early team news on Man City in regards to who starts. We should get a leak. So if we see Vardy starts, then he could tempt me to include him, but I think it's still slightly risky if we don't get team news to include him in. Obviously, new signing. Man City don't really need to rush him into their first 11. They've got Ake, they've got Ikanji, so no rush to include him in. But Pep Guardiola did actually say he will be ready for Burnley. So whether that means he starts, obviously we don't know when it comes to Pep. Uchiha says, "Evening all. Like the back three and the forwards, I have the exact same ones." Shrey, welcome to the chat. Areola or V Turner. Obviously, this is an interesting one because Turner has actually left Arsenal and gone to Nottingham Forest, has been confirmed in the FPL now as well. And Turner is expected to be a starting goalkeeper at 4 million for Forest as well. So that could be an interesting one to go for. I think Turner will be quite popular for a playing 4 million goalkeeper. And definitely one you should be considering. I prefer Turner, if I'm being honest, because with Areola, it's still not 100% that he will start ahead of Fabianski, because we know Fabianski can start ahead of Areola. It's more of a 50-50, I think. But yeah, Jordan, I'll let you take this one because obviously, City defenders and Edison, etc. last season. Hi, gents. Don't understand having a Man City defender. None of them got over 93 points last year, and now there's even more to rotate. What's your thoughts on the City defense in that regard?
Well, I don't know. Do you see Ake and Akanji being rotated that much?
That's the thing. I'm not sure now. Was it Vardiol's here as well? So there is more. How many defenders do they have? Because it looks like Kyle Walker is going to stay. He could play on the right hand side. Vardiol could fit in on the left hand side. Diaz, Diaz is probably more nailed than all of them as well. Stones as well. You're not going to drop out too much, so there definitely will be rotation. But obviously, seeing by your draft, are you going to be tempted to go with the City defender come deadline, or are you thinking you're not willing to take that risk of rotation?
Yeah, I definitely still want to go for Man City defender, despite the risk of maybe rotation involved. I mean, it would be best to go for Edison again, but it's the money. He's 5.5 million, so it does make it harder to have Edison, who's obviously nailed. And to put him in the team, it just makes it harder to build your team around the players you want because of his price. But yeah, I think still, especially with Burnley away in their first fixture, you'd want a Man City defender in your team because you can definitely see a clean sheet happening.
Yeah, in regards to Man City, if you are worried about that rotation, I guess you can just bring in Edison, and he's going to play every game. But I do like John Stones. If I was to pick a Man City defender, opinions on owning Onana and Chilwell, but bank 0.5, or going short and Johnston, but no money in the bank. I think I'd rather go Onana and Chilwell. Was you get the Man United goalkeeper, and then Chilwell has that attacking threat. And Chelsea have Liverpool game week 1, but after game week 3, they've got quite a nice run. So yeah, the fixtures do swing a bit for Chelsea, and I wouldn't mind having a Chelsea player from game week 3 onwards. What's your take on this question anyway? Obviously Onana and Chilwell.
Yeah, I think I'd still have 0.5 in the bank rather than having no money, just to have that flexibility. Owning Onana, I think that would be interesting. I think it's a bad idea because Man United has a decent defensive record. I mean, De Gea made some crazy saves for Man United, and obviously Onana has big boots to fill in that position, but I'm sure he can. And obviously, defensively, Man United will be, I think, stronger this season. So I don't think owning Onana is not a bad idea. And obviously, Chilwell, well, Chelsea could have a definitely improved season compared to the last one, and we know Chilwell suffers from injuries though. That's the only thing, hamstrings and whatnot. I still think Chilwell can do well at the start, despite my criticism against Chelsea, having Chelsea in the first, at least the first 2 fixtures that they have, which are a bit challenging because they have Liverpool first and then obviously West Ham.
Yeah, I agree. The first 2 could be it could be a bit of wait and see potentially, but again, I don't mind having Chilwell against Liverpool and even West Ham, who I don't think have had the best of the summer. They've not really bought many players in either, but we'll see. Uchiha Dan, I'm skeptical on Pedro. I feel like he could flop, but I have him. Yeah, Pedro is going to be one to watch for sure. Speaking about him earlier, I was actually speaking to Watford fan, and yeah, he rates Pedro very highly, and he thinks he could have a very good season if given the opportunity. Shrey, I think it's good to have I think it's good to have money in the bank for later upgrades, as it can be very unstable at the start of the season. Animations, I'm probably like 90% locked. I'm like 70% locked. I think I will definitely change things. You'd want Chilwell, so I think it's probably best to start with him. Yeah, definitely. I could easily swap out James for Chilwell. I'm not 100% sure though, but I do like the upside, and I think the Liverpool game against Chelsea on Sunday could be anything. Jordan, I'll let you take this question from Animations. What about Foden and Son? Obviously, slight differentials. slight rotation risk. So people are worried about the community after the Community Shield, Foden not starting. Maybe that spooked a few people, and we know what Son has done previously in FPL.
Yeah, Son is a decent pick, especially now that Kane is leaving Spurs. That could actually turn well for Son, but he is expensive still. Even though he's had a downgrade in price, he's still 9 million. So it is a lot of money to have in that midfield place for Son. Ideally, Richarlison could be a better option in that sense. But in terms of Son, I think it's a bit too much money, and it's unpredictable what Spurs will do at the start of the season as well. So I think it's a wait and see for Son. Opinions on Foden. I originally did have Foden in my team, and I was tempted to start him, I think, in my 11. Regardless if he starts in Gameweek 1, I'm not sure. But because he didn't start, obviously, in the Community Shield match, it kind of gives me a bit of confidence that he may start in the first game week, because that rest period potentially is a little hint and guess to Pep Roulette that when a player is rested and doesn't start, they usually do start maybe in the next fixture. So I kind of would like Foden still, even if he doesn't start in Game Week 1.
But you should hear anyway. Like, we should get team news because it's the first game. Obviously, evening kickoff on Friday, so I think we'll get team news. And if we see Foden starting, maybe some people might change it up the last minute. Teams bring him in because we know the ceiling he has when he does start. But yeah, it was a slight worry maybe seeing him actually bench for that Community Shield. Pedro or Jackson? I think I prefer Pedro right now, if I'm being honest. Hi lads, I'm on the same team as Haas, bar the goalkeeper, and I have a 4.5 million defender. What would your plan to get to both Trippier and a better second forward if you needed longer term? If you needed money longer term, I would probably suggest selling. You'll have to sell one of your midfielders. I think like someone like you might have to sell like a Odegaard or a Bruno if you really want Trippier. I think, and that's the only way you'd get. You get to that price point. So you'd have to get rid of one of your bigger hitting midfielders. And in terms of the second forward, again, you'll definitely, I think, have to sell. I mean, assuming you've got Reece James on the bench, you can have a 4.5 million. If you have a 4.5 million defender, sorry, instead of Reece James, like I do, then selling someone like Odegaard or Fernandez, I think those are the ones. If they don't start off the season well, you can get rid of. David says, a great team, Huss. Thank you. Still more likely to change. This team was not locked. Even the goalkeepers, I think I'm not going to include. I usually go with the cheap goalkeepers, 4.5s. But yeah, I've still got money in the bank, so I'll just put Onana in there for now. Solid team. I feel like triple Brighton is a bit much considering their fixtures from game week 4. It's a bit too many transfers needed, I reckon. What's your thoughts on this comment by obviously Jack Grealish? You've gone with triple Brighton. Do you feel like it's too much, or are you back in Brighton at the start of the season?
Yeah, I do agree with that. Even though I have triple Brighton, it can be a bit too much. I think a bit overload. I kind of think the same with Arsenal as well. A lot of people have triple Arsenal, and that can be a bit overload too. Even though Arsenal are in a better position. But yeah, I think going with 2 Brighton is acceptable. Maybe 3 is a bit pushing out the boat, even though the fixtures are nice. Like you said, from Game Week 4, it does require a bit of change in the team. Obviously, after that, because of the fixture swing for Brighton. So yeah, I do agree with this comment from Jack. Yeah, going with 3 could be a bit too much if you consider the long-term plan.
Yeah, obviously I've got 2, I think, right now. Sorry, I've got 3 as well. My bad. Estupinian, Mitoma, João Pedro. However, Mitoma is not locked at all. He could easily swap out because I do like Mbeumo at Brentford. See what we missed, what we haven't really discussed. We've spoke about Darwin. Yeah, I do agree with this one. I don't think he'll start. As you mentioned, he didn't start in the last 2 preseason games. It was Gakpo that was preferred, and even a Jota played down the middle, I believe, in the last preseason game against Darmstadt, and Gakpo played as a midfielder. So yeah, it's interesting to see what Liverpool go with, what front line they go with. They do have options there. If Foden starts, will he get him? Who will he be replacing? If he starts, then I think the only option is Odegaard out, Foden in. That sort of price bracket where you can downgrade someone like Foden.
Yeah, I think I was replacing Ciso for Foden. If that's always starting.
Yeah, well, and Ciso again, another one that could be a slight. Well, I think he will be a risk maybe in terms of rotation. Will he start? I can play either Martinelli and Jota or Chilwell and Salah. That's a whole different question. That's kind of Salah. The only issue with Salah is he does kind of make you into change your entire structure of your team pretty much. Like if you go with Salah, then you've probably got to have a cheap forward like João Pedro. You've got to have Matoma, and you probably got to have another cheap 6.5 million midfielder as well, like an Eze or someone like that. So it could work having Salah still. I think Salah still. I still think he's the FPL GOAT. You know, he's on 90 minutes. He's going to play every game. He's going to score. You know, you think he's going to get around 20 goals. That's what he's done pretty much since he's joined Liverpool. And it's mad that Salah could potentially go into the season as a bit of a differential. So that's the reason why I'm still tempted to go with Salah, because so many people are ignoring him. But it does require a lot of change to your team, I think, if you go with Salah. The last question I have is Bruno, Watkins, and Maddison, or Salah, and Mbeumo, João Pedro. Just debating Salah in, but I've got Mitoma, so not 100% sure on Pedro. Yeah, again, it comes back to this Salah chat. Have you given Salah much thought, Jordan? Because obviously with your draft currently, you've got Harry Kane, obviously just holding up some budget. If you got rid of him, you could push that money up to a Salah, for example. Have you thought about going for Salah? Because it seems like you were willing to initially have like 2 premiums. Or do you think you won't go there?
No, I don't think I will go there, because if you have Salah in your team, your midfield, you can't really have a decent 5 in the midfield if you have Salah, I think, because of obviously the price. With your Haaland as well in combination, you can't really play a decent 5 midfield. You just have to play like a 4 in the midfield and maybe 4 in the back. And having obviously maybe 2 at the front. So budget-wise, it's hard to fit Salah in. And honestly, I think this season, I see more assists from Salah than goals, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Just because of how many options there are in attack for Liverpool now. You might see Salah drop off for goals and get more assists. And I think for that price, I don't think I'm willing to have Salah if he's going to just be scoring most of the assists. I think I'd rather have someone cheaper that's going to maybe replicate the same thing as Salah will, but a cheaper value.
Yeah, that's a fair comment. Definitely, I do sort of agree with that as well. But yeah, for me, Salah is another player that is tempting to bring him in, because he's consistently delivered goals and assists season on season, and again, that penalty situation is what makes him attractive as well, because he's going to take penalties, and even if he has a poor game, he can just get a penalty, and then that's a 10-pointer right there. Let's see what other comments are missing out, guys. Let us know in the comments as well if you've got any questions or anything you want to ask us about FPL. And also, guys, there's a few of you watching. If you are enjoying the content, please make sure you do smash a like button on this video, and also make sure you do follow us on our socials at the top. Instagram, Twitter. We also have a Discord in the comments below, so make sure you do join us on a Discord, and so you can chat to us. Send us your teams. We can even rate your teams. And yeah, just discuss FPL in general. So make sure you do check the Discord out. And yeah, guys, like the stream. Appreciate the feedback, says Uchiha. No worries, mate. Cheers, lads. Appreciate your insight and loving the new graphics. Yeah, shout out to Jordan, obviously working hard, tirelessly to sort out the graphics. So yeah, shout out Jordan really for the graphics.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we'll probably discuss this. We did kind of touch upon this, and Mbeumo or Eze instead of Mitoma. have you given this any thought, Jordan? Obviously, I was surprised you don't have Mitoma as of now. So or do you have Mitoma? You do,
I
don't
have Matona.
you? Yeah, sorry, you do. Um, Mitoma is seen as obviously what he did last season. He did quite well for Brighton, uh, especially in the mid-season after the World Cup. He went on that bit of a run where he felt like he was scoring a lot. Eze has kind of um, Eze's done quite well in preseason. I know he's got a couple of assists, I think. And with Zaha leaving, there's more responsibility on him potentially to score more goals, etc. Mbuemo, again, we know you mentioned with Tony now being suspended until January, he becomes more of the main man at Brentford. How do you see those three players, and like who do you think, if you had to pick one, two, three in terms of who the better option is? Like what do you make of these guys? So all 6.5 million as well.
Well, I think first I'll put Bremo just because of how long Tony is out for. Pretty much, Bremo is nailed to be in that spot position, obviously where Tony would play. He's also on penalties now, and he potentially now gets the bonus points that we just see Tony get too. So if Bremo does score in a game, and obviously Brentford have a decent one, you can obviously more bonus points from Bremo. And obviously, Brentford's fixtures, they're not so bad at the start. And yeah, I do expect a lot from Bremo, and his ownership is ridiculous. He's a differential now. He's under 10%. So despite his flag at the moment for a dead leg, I'm still confident he will start against obviously Tottenham at the weekend. So he'll be my first pick. In terms of second, I'll probably say Matoma as the second bit. Again, in terms of Brighton midfield, I think he's probably the most probable one that will score majority of the goals in our midfield. And obviously, Brighton's fixtures from Gameweek 1 to 4 are really good. So, in terms of that short-term player, I do expect Matoma to score goals from the very beginning. And I think I put Eze as the third pick, despite Zaha leaving and obviously Eze being more advanced in that forward position and obviously having a good pre-season. I don't doubt him not being a good player, though. I still think he's decent. I would rate him higher than 3, obviously, between those two. But in terms of the ratings, I put him as a third.
I really like Mbuemo as well. Obviously, the only thing is he's currently flagged, but if I see he's going to play, then I could easily bring him in. I'm a big fan of Eze. As I mentioned, I think Zaha leaving is big for him. I think he's going to get more chances to create. He's going to be the focal point, I think, and I think he's a brilliant player in general. So yeah, I think he's a player I just like watching as well. So yeah, I am a big fan of Eze, and I think he's going to step it up this season for sure. Jack Grealish, have you seen Liverpool games, and how do you consider his positioning? Obviously, talking about Salah, when Liverpool are on the ball. Personally, I think he's not enough in central areas to justify the price. So obviously, I've watched every game of Liverpool this season in pre-season so far. And yeah, I've actually been watching obviously a lot as a Liverpool fan myself, seeing how we're doing. And I do kind of hear what you mean. Salah has already, I think, 7 assists in pre-season, but only the 1 goal. So that looks like he is kind of turning more provider than the actual goal scorer. But I still think it depends who he plays with, I feel like, as well. If he plays with Gakpo, then I think he is more of that goal scorer. But when Darwin plays, I feel like Darwin does take away some of the big chances Salah would get. It goes to Darwin. So I do think it depends on the players around him. So if he plays with Darwin, I think maybe Darwin becomes more of the focal point of the attack. Whereas with Gakpo likes to drop deep a bit and let Salah get inside and go through the middle. But yeah, I mean, I still think Salah's a great pick again, just due to the fact that Darwin's a rotation risk, Jota's a rotation risk, Diaz is a rotation risk, Gakpo could be a rotation risk as well. We know Jota, etc., are going to take minutes off him, whereas Salah, Liverpool don't have anyone on that right-hand side. So I think Salah's one that he's going to play every game if he's fit, and especially with Liverpool not in the Champions League, first half of the season, you expect Salah to play and be rested for all the Premier League games and maybe not play as much in the Europa League, where he could be fresh at the start of the season. I think haven't got a clue as well. Evening, lads. Glad you're back. Yeah, nice to see you again, mate. Hope you're well. Roman Jarvis, is the Mboma argument with Tony not similar to Eze with Zaha leaving because Eze will be on penalties as well? Yeah, that's a good point. As I did mention as well, with Zaha leaving, Eze becomes more attractive. And I think this question for you, Jordan. How will Man United do this season? Are you confident going into this? Obviously, Man United have signed a couple players, the goalkeeper, Mount, Højlund, the new striker, which obviously Man United were lacking last season. You confident?
Yeah, I'm very confident. Obviously, I'm more confident now that obviously no offense to Maguire. Obviously, he's now gone from Man United. He's joined.
Is it official yet? I think it's not official, is it yet? But it looks like it could be gone to, was it West Ham?
Yeah, I think he'd be going to West Ham, I think, for 30 million. So,
Yep.
yeah, I think, again, that's a nice setup for Man United. Like, they've cleared pretty much all the old baggage that they had previously that caused issues and whatnot in the team. And obviously, they've got refreshed new faces like Mason Mount and our new forward Højlund. So, yeah, I am very excited to see what Man United can do this season, especially with a new forward that they desperately needed.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how United do. But yeah, guys, we're not going to probably leave this stream up for too much longer. We have been going for just under an hour. Again, if you have been enjoying this content, all we ask for is you to like the stream and also share the videos all on your socials, Twitter, etc. If you do, it just helps us out being quite a fairly new channel. We plan to post a lot more frequently this season, so make sure you do subscribe so you don't miss out on any content. There's a lot of stuff dropping, new graphics, new content ideas, new type of streams, and it's going to be good this season. So make sure you do follow us and make sure you are subscribed if you aren't already. I think that's it, Jordan. We're probably going to wrap it up here. Again, we're back tomorrow. I think it's going to be a 5 o'clock stream, so 5 p.m. UK time. We're going to go live for about an hour and a half. And yeah, we're going to lock in our final team. So yeah, you don't want to miss that one, guys. It should be a very good good stream. So yeah, deadline tomorrow, 6:30. Is it 6:30 deadline?
Yes, 6:30.
Yeah, 6:30 p.m. So get your teams locked in, guys. And yeah, we probably will have to see you guys tomorrow. But before we go, obviously, John Pedder, shout out to John. He says Pedro is a bargain and will be picked and put away a few goals this season. Pardon the pun, John. But yeah, I think that's it for us today. I want to thank everyone that has watched the stream. Thank you for all you guys' comments. It's been a good, lively chat. And yeah, cheer Dan. Premier League starts this time tomorrow. Good luck, everyone. Yeah, you're excited, Jordan. Obviously, Premier League kicking off tomorrow. Man City, Burnley. Are you excited now that it's back?
Yeah, very excited just to see what shocks and surprises the season has, like we did see last season. So yeah, there's going to be plenty of madness. I think this season is going to happen. But yeah, I'm excited for tomorrow.
Yeah, guys, that's it from us. Big thank you to all, and we will see you guys very, very soon. So take care and enjoy the rest of your day.